All right, so let me tell you about one of my homies, right? Dude saved up like 2 years to buy his dream car. Shiny new BMW, all the bells and whistles. Fast forward 6 months, and guess what happens? He wakes up to a notification that says that your heated seat subscription has expired. Oh, you thought that buying a car meant that you own the heated seats? Nah, nah, nah. Even your ass is pay to play. And dude ain't alone. From Kindle books that vanish overnight to farmers who can't fix their own tractors because of software locks, we're living in a world where ownership is a myth. So today we're asking 3 big questions. Why does it feel like we don't own anything anymore? Not our time, not our stuff, not even our futures. And how are corporations and tech companies designing this dependency? And what can you actually do to take your ownership back? This is Society Breakdown. Peace, 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 and blessings. What is good? This is your boy 7 Inglewood's on right now in your zone, and this is another episode of The Blackman Show presents Society Breakdown. And today we are exposing how the systems turned us all into permanent renters. We done talked about this before, but this is more of a concentrated view. And this is how you can fight back. All right, first up, we got the ownership heist. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it a buck. This ain't no accident that companies want you to own nothing. You know what I'm saying? They want that because renting you stuff makes them 10 times more money. You just think about it. Netflix doesn't sell you DVDs. They sell you access to movies. They used to sell DVDs back in the day. At least I think they did. Anyway, get to the point. They don't. They sell you access to a show until they decide to remove it because of reasons, ratings. 12 people in Wyoming decided they don't like it anymore for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So they will arbitrarily just take away shows and movies that you were watching, that you were into, or what have you, just because, and at a moment's notice. And that's what you're paying for. And then we talked about Adobe and how they don't sell Photoshop anymore. They sell you a monthly addiction at, what is it, $60, $65 a month now? Back in the day, I told you, back in the day, I used to love how you could just hop on LimeWire and for all y'all who knew what LimeWire was, but you can hop on LimeWire and just get the program. Just get it. And then do whatever you wanted to do with it, operate with it, and it was fine. It was a cracked version, if you knew what that meant. But you would get yourself a file offline, and that way you could operate within that system and within that program to your heart's content. And now, well, they've made it a whole lot easier for you to get these programs and to get access because they want to make sure that you're in and they want to keep you in because they know that you want access. And as you keep the access, because ownership is the thing, is the illusion that they want to sell you at least, they do that in the version of a subscription. And then you've got places like John Deere, right? Where even John Deere, right? They're not selling you tractors. They are selling farmers a subscription to their own damn equipment. You know what I'm saying? So this is all by design. The corporations are designing ownership. Like I said, I've said this in other episodes before, and I think that you can peep that this is the theme of all of these episodes that I've done up to this point, that this is about the illusion of ownership and the theft thereof by these corporate and sometimes even government entities. But yeah, we out here getting microcharged to death like a free-to-play mobile game. But your will to live, that will be $4.99 a month. And if you've seen that episode of Black Mirror, you know what I'm talking about. So like I said, they sell you this illusion of access, right? So, let's talk about it. Like, it is the biggest scam of modern life. You don't own what you buy. You get these digital purchases, right? You go get things from Amazon or the like, where, even with them, like Kindle. There's a book that I was reading in Kindle. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there was a Kindle book that I had that I paid for that all of a sudden was no longer there, was no longer available. Access just gone. Well, not access to it. The book was just gone. Like it had been pulled from whatever, I guess from the store or whatever. But still, it's like I paid for this thing, and now it's like I paid for it, but now I have nothing, but Amazon still has my money. Like I feel like in those sort of instances, especially if Amazon pulls a book from their catalog or from their inventory, that they should give you something back. Like, hey, we know you paid for this. We were making money off of this thing, and we sorry. Here's a little something back off that because we was wrong for collecting money off this thing that we all of a sudden have realized was wrong to have. Whatever. That would be more equitable, don't you think? But that's too much like right. I'm sorry. I'm going a little bit too far. But we know that Amazon and Kindle have this ability. I mean, even Apple has this ability to brick your apps. Tesla can do the very same thing to your car. If you have a Tesla and you decide to sell your Tesla to someone else, so now they have a used Tesla, you have you as the seller had all the features open on your vehicle, everything is available, even the heated seats. And you had everything available on your vehicle, and you decided, okay, I'm going to sell it to buyer A. Buyer A now has your vehicle with all the bells and whistles turned on your vehicle. Tesla can find out and be like, well, hell no. And so therein lies the illusion of ownership. Like you didn't own that. Even though you bought the vehicle, you bought access to the vehicle company that has the buttons to turn on yes or no. Can you have windshield wiper fluid and hazards on your vehicle? Things like that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. At this point, I'm surprised that breathing is not at a subscription. I mean, sorry, your oxygen trial ends in 7 days. Upgrade to premium air for $12.99 a month. And let me ask y'all, what are some of the dumbest things that you've seen turned into a subscription? Like toilet paper, light bulbs, your ex's attention? Let me know down in those comments. And so at the end of the day, we know that this is all about control, right? Here is the dirty little secret. Convenience is a trap. When people are selling you something as a convenience, it is a way to trap you within that convenience, within the confines of its convenience. You know what I'm saying? So like your smart home reports on you. It provides reports to your energy company and other entities about your data usage, about your heat consumption and energy consumption throughout your house and all that. So, it's not just turning your heat on and off. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just connected to your phone. It's also telling on you at the same time. Your phone is listening to you 24/7. Hey Siri, my ass. It's listening to you even before you say hey Siri. It's listening for the hey Siri, if nothing else. So it's always listening. Even when you tell it to stop listening, it's listening. So there's always something listening, you know what I'm saying? And then your apps are designed to addict you, literally. I mean, Silicon, I said it is silly, but Silicon Valley calls it brain hacking, where they can actually learn about the consumer, the average consumer's way of thinking, or method of thinking, method of moving, thought and all that, and figure out ways to create apps and other technologies to make your life better, or thereby dependent upon these technologies, so that way you'll make them money for your ignorance, and then thereby creating an ignorance test. They probably should call, I think if this thing continues, I think they should create something called the ignorance industry. Like the ignorance industry, I know they call it like the information age, but it's really the ignorance industry, because a lot of people knew how to do a lot of things, but nowadays people don't want to know how to do things, and they want to pay other people, apparently, because they got so much money to give away, I guess. But they want to pay other people to do the things that they could very well, in many instances, do themselves. Many, not all the time. Nah, I can't change the engine in my vehicle. I mean, Okay, I probably could. Yeah, I could. There are books on it. Yes, I could. Anyway, but I don't know how to do it is what I'm saying. So, but I would probably pay someone to do it because it was the steep learning curve to learn something like that. And that's the case in many instances for a lot of other people. But I think in this brain hacking, it's gotten to such an extent that they are able to look at our activity at such a minute and finite level that they can say, oh, you don't like to, or you like to get pancakes on Tuesdays. We're going to make this thing that automatically delivers you pancakes on Tuesdays. Pay us $5 a week. and you're like, oh, that's a convenience, man. That's great. And then 12 years down the line, hey, you know how to make pancakes? No, but I know how to order them. I mean, when you think about it, we all out here getting played. You know, here's your free demo version of life for 2025. Unlock happiness for $9.99 a month. I mean, but that's real though. I mean, if the internet were to die tomorrow, could you cook something without an app? Could you fix a leak without going to YouTube first? Could you think without Googling? Or would you just stand there like a, error human offline? You know what I mean? Like, are you able to, do you know things? Do you know things? Do you know how to do things? Do you know how to find out how to do things without when the electronics and all those services and things like that go away? Because that's what this all comes down to. It comes down to the things that you don't know, that becomes the industry. And are you capable? Are you capable to not have to pay the idiot tax? And so to that end, what can you do? I would say you've got to opt out of the scam of convenience, right? You got to start thinking things in terms of like when you do with your assets, with your investments. Is this an asset? Is this something that's going to make me money, or is this something that's going to take away from me? Assets versus liabilities. And do that when it comes to your convenience. Is this something that's actually helping me own something, or is this just giving me access to a thing? And if that access is to a thing, how long do I want to pay for that access? Is that access worth it down the line, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, after I've spent however much and they've gotten me locked into this model of payment? Is that worth it? You have to evaluate that. And I will always be a huge advocate of buying physical media, books, DVDs, VHS tapes. Look, my wife and we own a VHS cassette player, and we are in the process of upping our VHS collection. We got quite a few DVDs as well. And we do have a DVD player. We have several DVD players. We want to get our VHS collection back up, because you know what VHS doesn't have when you playing videos for the kids? Fucking commercials. It don't have commercials. They can just see that they have trailers and things for old movies and all that stuff that you haven't, that you don't want to see or whatever. You can, and hey, you can fast forward through those. Novel concept, right? But you can fast forward through the trailers, get right to the part that you want to see, hit play, and it just plays. Man, weird. That's what happens when you own things. So I'm a huge advocate of that in any and every realm possible. Wherever there is something that you have an interest in, and there is a thing to purchase to get it, I would suggest buying the ownership version of it versus the access version of it. That's basically all I'm saying. That's all I've been saying in all of these episodes up to this point. And you can download offline backups of your important files and other programs and things. Like, there are certain programs that you can purchase that don't charge you a subscription fee. I would suggest you move towards those. Now, granted, when you have something that's free, We have something that's free. You are the product, so your data may be at risk in those instances. I'm talking about the ones that you pay for, specifically the ones that you pay for, and it's a one-time payment, in and out, you get it out of there, and you're done. There are those that do exist. So if those are within your realm of interest, please go that realm or go that route versus the subscription model. Especially if you're looking to know how to do things and know how to keep some money in your pocket without paying the damn ignorance tax. And then own your tools. You know what I'm saying? Like a screwdriver, even a screwdriver, even just having us owning your own screwdriver is better than having a subscription to a handyman. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got this handyman on call to put batteries in my smoke detector. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. And why would you pay whatever amount? It's only $12 a month. Yeah, only $12 a month doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it is when you think about I'm paying somebody $12 a month just to replace the batteries in my smoke detector. What am I doing? And of course, this isn't something you can do all at once. So start small, right? A paid off used car is better than having a leased BMW and 12 subscriptions. I'm here to let you know. If you didn't know, let me be the first to tell you that, right? A garden, which we have, is better than having a 100% Uber Eats dependency, because eventually you're going to have to know and learn how to cook and clean food, make food, maintain food, and then have a better understanding and respect for and of food than to just say it's just something I eat, stuff it in my face, put the Whole Foods in my food hole, and then I'll go on about my day. Because there's more to it, and I think we should have a better and higher appreciation for food as a whole. But that's my own thing, and I apologize for digressing. And of course, learn a skill that the algorithm cannot take away. Cooking something, fixing something, doing something, looking up something, knowing something, knowing how to find things when you don't know something without paying something. Like, please, like, it baffles me how many people will call me, and because some things that so forgive me, right? I'm of a weird understanding, and sometimes I find myself baffled at some of the questions that people ask me, to the point where I honestly think they're trolling me. So I swear. So it's like people will ask me simple things, about vehicles, gas, car, the battery, where you put the oil, just weird stuff. Grown men and women. So it's not just exclusive to one gender, so it would baffle me when I would hear that, to the point where I honestly would think, you're playing, right? You really don't? Nah, okay. But, at the same time, I don't like to make people feel silly. I try not to make people feel silly for not knowing things, but I absolutely won't charge them an idiot tax because of it. You know what I'm saying? And my people, we've got to learn that your attention is yours and mine, our most valuable asset, right? So everybody is, I remember on the Midnight Marauders album, by A Tribe Called Quest, shout out, at the beginning of it, or somewhere in one of the interludes, it says people maraud for different things, and it says we maraud for ears, right? And it's like they're like, even in that, they're saying that we're like, our goal is your attention, your sonic attention, right? Your auditory attention. And in this instance, what these entities and what these corporations are doing, they are angling for our attention, our full attention, whether it's in our body, it's in our visual, auditory, all of that. They are wanting all of our attention, so that way they have us under control, right? So that's the goal, I think, of all of these entities. You know what I'm saying? And so with that control, what should you do? Get rid of their control. Delete one app that wastes your time. Set email or social media boundaries for, no replies after a certain time or something like that. Or I'm going to stop being in my phone after a certain amount of time. Create things. You can create things instead of consuming, even if it's just memes. We can also starve the corporations. And one of the best ways to starve the corporations is by building community. Get to know the people who live around you. They aren't all your enemies. They aren't all haters. Some of them are nice people. Not everybody wants to just be in your drawers, in your panties, or in your house. Some people think that you are a human worthy of and whose well-being should be protected. There are people like that. I'm one of those people. You know what I'm saying? So I know that they exist because I exist. You know what I'm saying? But in doing that, in building with your neighbor, like I have a great relationship with several of our neighbors around us. In doing that, you can barter skills and barter things. Like we had a blackout not too long ago. And, I had a good relationship with our neighbor next door. We didn't have a generator at the time. And so we had just had the baby. I think the baby was like 6 months old or something like that. And, we had all this milk that was in the freezer. We didn't want it to go bad. And so we talked to the neighbor. He was like, hey man, throw your extension cord over the fence and you can use our generator too. Bam. Say less. Connected that and a light and maybe our phones to charge them up. And that was about it. And that was love, you know what I'm saying? Didn't ask for any, there was no money exchange there. And I've helped him out with things, sawed off branches and things, whatever. I'm just saying, I've done neighborly things because that's what neighbors are supposed to do. Build with each other. You know what I'm saying? If you're working and living in the community, why not try to make the community better? And you do that by building and working with your neighbors. And you can neighbor. You can be like, look, I'll fix your sink for a slice of your grandmama's pie. Your grandmama's pie, don't get nasty. At the same time, you can support local, right? Instead of going to Amazon, you can go to your local. Like we just had this Buy Black event that took place here. That happens at the gift on the first weekend of every month. Gift, which is a nonprofit organization here in Kansas City. They have a Buy Black business showcase every month. Go to that. Go to things like that. And support local. So your dollars are moving more within the community as well. So you're also helping to build a community, helping to fight corporations, and you're learning to help your fellow man over helping that other man. The man, I guess. Is it the man? Is it still the man? The man. I guess the man. And lastly, you can share resources, right? You can share, tool libraries, software and online resources, and all sorts of things like that are available for you to help other people out. So that way you're not sitting there paying the idiot tax. Yeah, man. We all want to stop paying it. This is how you get your life back. This is how you stop paying the idiot tax. You stop paying the idiot tax by paying attention to your community, by paying attention to things so that way you'll know how to do things. You know what I'm saying? You're not just watching, you're paying attention. See, it's a difference. It's not just saying, oh, look, colors. You're saying, hey, oh, that's how you fix that. So it works in this way. It wouldn't work that way because, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Think things through so that way you'll know the next step, not just this step. You know what I'm saying? But whether it is your time, your skills, your sanity, whatever it is, let's build a wins list. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what it is that you guys are going to start doing today that you're going to stop doing of the things that are making you ignorant. I'm sure there's a better way to word that. Look, they want you tired, subscribed, and just wealthy enough to think that you're free. But ownership is not about the stuff that you got. It's about the power that you wield. And that's the power to fix, to choose, and to opt out. So start small. Cancel one useless subscription. Learn one skill that they cannot take away from you. Shout out to my wife's grandfather. Own one thing that's truly, truly yours. And that is how we break the cycle. So this will conclude the end of this cycle of talking about the end of ownership, or why ownership is dead. And I'm hoping that y'all will join me next week when I'm talking about why customer service is dead. Spoiler alert, it's because they don't give a shit. But until then, stop renting your life. Take care of each other, you and yours, and I'll see you next time. All right? Peace. And I'm out.